Candice Owens. She's currently getting in a lot of smoke. Is it her nigga wake up card? Let's find out. You know, Jason Whitlock and Candice Owens, they coon. There's no doubt about it. But the problem is that they're not wrong all the time. In fact, I would say they're right 49% of the time. Maybe 51%. And some people like to use that as an excuse to disnote them. But let's see. Candice Owens is getting attacked from the right over the situation that happened in Ukraine. Oh, no, my bad. Not Ukraine, but in Israel. And everybody losing their mind. All their values are going to trash. Which, you know, is normal. When people say that the parties are no different, well, this is a great example of why, because it's lockstep unanimous over this issue of Zionist. Let's talk about it. So everybody knows about the beef that Candice is going through right now. You saw, Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro. A month ago to this day, it was Megyn Kelly. Now Dave Rubin, who claims to be her friend, and she helped him and his husband, yes, his husband, pick out baby strollers or car seats or some shit like that. He said that. But they don't like Candice's response to the situation going on in another country. They ain't got shit to do with us. Ben Shapiro once said that, Israel doesn't need America. America needs Israel, or along those lines. But now his tone has changed. He wants America to keep funding the resources and go over there and wipe all the people out. Not Hamas, but the entire country, the whole little strip. It's not a country. It's an occupied territory, if you want to call it that. But Candice has been consistent. She's calling out Nikki Haley with her warmonger, hawkish ways, wanting to, completely infringe on Americans' anonymity online, which is weird because when Candice was a liberal, before she got on her grifting right-wing thing, she also is known for wanting to be on a website that was doxing and exposing people. Look how the tides have turned. She talked about that with Tucker Carlson in their interview, that, why she opposes what Nikki was saying. Dave Rubin, who isn't, he was with TYT. Now, like him and a few others that used to be at TYT have moved over a little bit and to this Tim Pool grifting. I'm not a Republican or conservative, but I know that their audience is open to hear what I'll say the things that their audience wants to hear. For those who are, I make a lot of money doing it, right? Everything is a grift, but we're in this grift right now, so let's talk about it. But Dave Rubin, Candice has pointed out, he tweeted not that long ago,
when it comes to opinions that I find abhorrent,
that at one point in time he was cool with not censoring people and not ending protests in other countries, but now that tune has changed. Now it's different. He's happy that France ended their pro-Israel, pro-Palestine protests. Not their pro-Hamas, but pro-Palestine. And this is the problem that we're having right now. For whatever reason, this issue of the little hat people make people lose their minds. Everyone damn near on the right, from Sean Hannity to Megyn Kelly, Dave Rubin, Nikki Haley, all these people are fundamentally opposing ideas. Even the people, right? Ben Shapiro's on a rant at one of his colleges debating a college student again, like he always does. Doesn't really debate intellectuals of his level. He usually debates, college kids, whatever. But he tells a guy to take off his mask so that employers can see his face and not hire him, right? So he wants this person who has a different opinion on the issue. Of course, he claims that's anti-Semitic, his view in regards to that photos that were generated or not. I still haven't seen the photos of the kids, whatever that they said happened, but we're going with that narrative that happened, even though there's no real proof. But he called him anti-Semitic for having the question whether or not that was true or not. And then he told him, you should take off your mask so people can see you. Which, I remember when conservatives were cool with anonymity and, the ability to criticize the government, or not even our government, right? He's criticizing another country's government. Like, people aren't attacking the people of Israel. They're attacking the Israeli government. Benjamin. Charlie Kirk says, I've been to Israel a whole bunch of times. I've got a lot of money for them. I've done a lot of things over there. And he questioned, like, wait a minute, how does this happen? This country is overly surveilled. Everybody running around with choppers. How is it possible that this can happen in 6 hours? Like, it's not that big. It only takes 45 minutes to get from one end of the country to the other. So how did it take 6 hours of them filming it? Was there a stand down thing that happened from the government, which could make sense, conspiratorial or not? Let them do this so that we can go crush them. In America, we do false flag situations all the time. We let things happen and entrap terrorists and whatnot and let them go as far as they can go, and then we get them. Some ask the question, did the Israeli government do the same thing? And coincidence, quinky-dink, this is at the same time that Israel is going through their own little civil war, so to speak. People out there protesting and rioting because they didn't like the way that Benjamin came through and did some real fascism shit. He lost, he got kicked out, then he got re-put in somehow. He is doing some things to their constitution, taking away the power of what would be, I guess, similar to our Congress. He thought that they had too much power, so he's like, he shook them some of their power. Like, a lot of shit was going on at this time, so that the media's not talking about. But over here in America, which I don't understand, well, I do get it. I get it. You got all the Zionists and, people upset at Candy. And say what you want about Candice Owens, say what you want about Jason Whitlock, but think about it. They're the few people who are on the right who are questioning, give it to the dude from Turtle Point 2, but they're questioning things like, wait a minute, this don't add up. I'm not going to just believe it because you say it. I don't believe my own government when they say things. Why would I believe another government who's really talking about wiping out a bunch of people? Now, I don't have a take on each situation. I think if America wants to be the police of the world, then we need to do that on both sides, down the middle. When we do give bombs and guns and things of that nature to other countries to wipe out other people, it does not end well. They are patient, as they say. Terrorists are patient. And I had an idea of a movie about that too. About, you go over there, you do this or that, and then you let the kids live, whatever, and then that kid grows up and they remember you. It's like a black soldier who went over, this story time. He goes over there, he's like 18, and then something happens and he has to kill some parents, or he's a part of the team that does, and then the little girls, like the little girl in Call of Duty who grew up to be a little badass. Like, I thought it was before Call of Duty did the storyline, but same difference. He has to go back in his 30s to go back over there to fight the same girl or whatever, or she's in America fighting. But point taken is that when you go over there and you do stuff like that, or you assist in those things, it also makes you a target as well. This notion that we're going to just wipe them out and turn them into glass, which you've had politicians in America saying, again, they're not separating the two. They're not separating the Palestinian people from Hamas, even though many of the pro-Palestine people are separating the Israeli government, aka Bibi, from the Israeli people. We're not blaming the people. We're blaming the government for some of the stuff that they're doing in the military. We're questioning the Mossad, who's supposed to be the best of the best when it comes to intelligence. I've watched the History Channel where they did like this soldier versus that soldier and hand-to-hand combat, things of that nature. They got some badass mofos over there. Even their women fight and do stuff, and they got skills as well. So questioning how this happened makes you anti-Semitic. Questioning the belief of what's going on makes you anti-Semitic. Not lockstep and key going with the narrative from the media in America on the West makes you anti-Semitic. And Candice in kind of Jason Whitlock a little bit, because who knows, he might fold. They might have, you know, if they have enough pressure on him to change his opinion or whatever, and that happens. But so far, call it what you want, because Candice ain't having her nigga wake up call. She is being consistent. She's reminding the right that, you know, we don't support taking away people's individual freedoms of speech. We don't support, even though she did before when she was a liberal, taking away people's anonymity on the internet and giving more power to the federal government. We don't support genocide. We don't support just wiping out a whole group of people because of some terrorists among those people, right? We don't do that as conservatives. We don't believe in that. And apparently those opinions are not good enough for those on the right. Dave Rubin, Megyn Kelly, Sean Hannity, and so on. Even Tucker Carlson, who interviewed her, capitalized off the situation. Absolutely. But he was like, yo, we don't do that. Now, I'll go a step further and say, you know, they don't have a problem with the businesses messing with these people's futures and stuff like that. And again, I don't agree with the protesters as far as their ideology and their political views, but if they have a right to go out there and do whatever, as long as it's not violent, they can do whatever they want to do on both sides. The Israel people can protest and do what they want to do. The pro-Palestine people can do what they want to do. But it seems that for some reason on the right, everybody loses their goddamn minds, and everybody is bringing up stuff that don't got nothing to do with the situation. And again, this is standard, but it's weird, right? It's weird how it's just this one group, this one topic that makes everybody lose their fucking mind. This one group that has a powerful lobby that you can't even talk about in a positive light, right? Ben Shapiro can rattle off a bunch of statistics about black people and how they're just like that. But if you do the same thing and you riddle off a bunch of statistics of who has the power, who owns this bank, who owns this in Hollywood, that's a trope. You can't do that. Even though the numbers match, you still can't say it. Even if you're a rapper and you give credit and say a positive line, they tell you, nope, don't do that. It's a trope. Shut up. But those following people who have a high stake in that type of music and make a lot of money off of that, they can perpetuate every stereotype and support the lyrics and the songs when it comes to black people. That's the point that Jason Whitlock actually addresses. This is a topic that ends careers. This is a topic that gets people out of here. And yet, Candice Owens and Jason Whitlock are one of the few people who are on the right that will say how they feel about the situation, and they're not just lockstep taking it as it is. You gotta give them credit for that, because again, this can destroy you. But I guess we can go through some of the videos and commentaries. You know, Megyn Kelly, she again, Dave Rubin, who claims to be her friend, is gonna say, I think that her response to this wasn't good enough, even though she said we condemn anybody that are terrorists. We condemn anybody that are killing people. But if we're saying that killing children and women and babies and this and that are bad on one side, then we'd have to attest that that's also bad on the other side. And apparently that's the problem with these right-wing so-called Zionists. You can't say that. You just gotta butt it to say, nope, we support Israel and that's it. Don't say anything else. It's almost like all the same stuff that the right was criticizing the left for over the vaccine, over censoring speech, over censoring protests, over saying you should lose your job because you won't take this experimental stuff. Some of the same arguments the last 2-3 years that the left has been getting criticized by those on the right, and even those who are in the center left and in the middle, they're doing themselves. The right wings are supporting people not having jobs because of their take on an opinion, or their, you know, even could simply just be jumping on the bandwagon of the protest because it's something to do. And it's like, oh, you should not be hired. I support Harvard and these people who donate a lot of money to Harvard and all these other institutions, pulling their money away. I support you putting them on this blacklist and stopping them from ever having the ability to have their work. So it sounds like those on the right are snowflakes. It sounds like those Republicans are no different than what they accuse liberals of being. Because when it's an issue that they care about, they have no problem at the federal level too. Like most of the leftists, they want you to do stuff that's unconstitutional at the state level. They wish they can get to the federal, but they do most of their work and their dirt at the state and local levels. But you got people on the right wanting a government to come step in or push people around. Nikki Haley said everybody on the internet need to use their real name, even though the bitch don't use her real name. You can't make this shit up. Like, we defended her when Sonny Holston tried to play her the same way, and she's self-hating, playing that trope of the Indians, the Bobby Jindos, the Saga from the Hill, Rising TV or whatever, the Hill, whatever it is now, Breaking Points now. It was funny too, because Saga tried to play this game of, I don't want to talk about how we in the Indian community feel about Nikki Haley. I'm like, dog, you gotta stop, because I'm sure because you are on the right and you are a Republican, even though you support a populist message and you are able to call out your own party, the Indians feel the same way about you, my guy, which is where I'll do that in a separate video. But, I don't know. This is beautiful. Like, people are saying we don't need this right now. That's all bull. Like, yes, we need it. Need to smoke. Need to separate the camps, because everybody don't feel the same way. Everybody will say these things, these values that they claim that they support, and when shit hit the fan, they look how quickly they run away from. That's why I don't run behind all these Republicans who be like, yeah, we're pro Second Amendment, we're pro gun and all that stuff, because any situation can happen, their mind changed. SC Cup demolished, and she's not really on the right. She's just socially liberal, and now with the Trump derangement syndrome, more leftist. But she was already in that space anyways. She's the type of Republican that The View would hire. She's the type of Republican that can work at CNN, which means she's not a Republican, right? But she demolished Angela Rye years ago, just broke it down with statistics, facts, numbers, all that, on gun control and the AR-15 and all this other stuff. And then, when some kids get killed, all that went out the window. Now she supports gun control. Trish Reagan, who used to be on Fox News, who I think, she probably should have got fired after she said this shit, but she brings on Robert Perillo, who is a niggercrat. Like, he's still a niggercrat. I think personally he's pro-gun and all this other stuff and all that stuff, and physically conservative and all that, but when he gets on Roland Martin, he starts tap dancing for the Democrats. It is what it is. But she brings him on thinking, I'm going to bring this black Democrat kind of moderate dude on my show to have him talk about gun control, and agree with him over the Republican host or commentator. But she was all flabbergasted because, he didn't tap dance with her. And it's just Trish Reagan on Fox News talking about gun control, and she's supposed to be on the right, on the Republican. She got fired not too long after that happened, but I don't think it was because of that. It was some stuff that she talked about with Trump and COVID or January 6th. I don't know what it was, but nonetheless, everybody doesn't agree, and I think now that Candice and Jason Willock have questioned things, I think it's making it easier for those who are black on the right to come out and say the things you don't align with those on people on the right, some of the opinions. And I'll do a video of a lot of stuff I don't agree with. Like, I don't agree with Ben Shapiro's take on the vaccine. I don't agree with, obviously, his mom's a doctor and in that business, that's the financial benefit of him. I don't agree with his take on BlackRock buying up all the houses, fucking up the markets, and screwing everything up. But that's like an issue. Like, I don't have an issue with individual people buying houses and turning them to Airbnb, stuff like that. That's your small business. But I do have a problem when a big conglomerate that owns half the world with other other companies, when they do it, because it completely messes up the entire thing. It messes up the whole ecosystem. But Ben Shapiro supports that. He's cool with that. Ben Shapiro was cool with the vaccine. He took it and promoted it and probably took some money to Daily Wire from promoting the vaccine like most networks did. But shout out to Vivek on this issue, because he's been consistent. He's called out Nikki Haley. Ron DeSantis tried to jump into and call her out over the thing, but he can't really do that because he's done things as governor that I couldn't support him because he overreaches. The stuff he's doing with state institutions and block and all this other stuff, I can't rock with it. But he tried to jump on the bandwagon, which is kind of weird because, his own situation. Now, they only did it after Vivek did it, but nah, B, we don't do that. We're not censoring people. We're not doxing people. People can have protests even if we don't agree with what they're saying. We don't want to write down a list of people's names so they can lose their ability to work in the future, because those opinions that those people have in college could definitely change. You debate and you have discussions and all that, but that seems to be on, this is the one topic in the world that seems to be, we don't need debates, we don't need discussions, we want to censor people, we want people to be quiet. You have to take the script and read the script and keep it like that. When you go off the script, we're going to bring somebody on the show to counteract what you said, you know. But I also have a question. There's a reason why Katie Helper, who's also a little hat person, she was fired from the Hill TV, who was calling out the Israeli government, and she's also a little hat person. There's a reason why Nick Cannon's show was canceled for something he didn't even say. There's a reason why Whoopi Goldberg was suspended from The View twice, right? Like, there's a reason why Damon John Young, whatever, for us by us, was on TV crying and apologizing for giving props to Farrakhan for her thing. There's a lot of black men who tap dance and cry and bow and bend over whenever this topic comes up. And again, Shamika Mallett is one of the only black people I've seen that were told to condemn Farrakhan, but she didn't do it for them white folks. Candice Owens did do what they want. She did condemn the terrorism acts and things of that nature, but apparently that wasn't good enough. Dave Rubin said it wasn't good enough. Megyn Kelly said it wasn't good enough. I don't use that language. I don't go around condemning anybody. I don't have any commendation to give people, so I don't get that. Like, no, committing acts are wrong. Like, my opinion or me using those words don't change the situation. But apparently, you have to use those words for this particular issue, not no other issue. This is a bipartisan fuckery. There's a bunch of liberals on the left that want to come out and say stuff, that want to side with Palestine, but they scared, or they want to be neutral at least. Because that's the thing. I say be neutral. America wants to be the police of the world, then be the police. That means you hold both sides accountable when they do messed up things. If you're saying this and that and doing this and blowing up hospitals and schools and this and that is a war crime, then that's what that is. Yeah, America is not really in a position to tell people that because we commit them too. But nonetheless, consistency is key. I don't have a problem with Israel doing whatever they want to do, but I do have a problem with taxpayer dollars and weapons and ammunition going over there to do that when we're getting screwed right now in this economy. When Joe Biden's talking about we can afford 2 wars, but people can't afford gas and they can't buy houses, and you know, medical debt is crazy. Student loans I feel different about. I think we need to fix that for the next generation on, but the people who already took it, you know, it is what it is. That's on you. But if we want to be competitive in the workforce and the market, America has to do something about education. So instead of us going across to other countries taking their talent and they steal secrets and they go back to their countries and bring that with them, it would make more sense for you to invest in those people here in America. That's how I feel on that issue. What that looks like, I don't know, but we cannot compete and we will not be able to compete in the future if we don't do something different with education. But yeah, that's my video. I could probably do another video just breaking down the Dave Rubin nonsense on Megyn Kelly. Just break down that whole video, I guess, and then break down Candice's response to that, because this video would be too long if I don't do that. But yeah, it's real interesting. Get your tea, get your popcorn ready. Candice is about to go on maternity leave, so it's gonna be some radio silence from her, possibly for a little bit. But she said her smoke, and I don't disagree with anything she said, you know. So as far as this topic goes, she's like, "Yo, I don't support the killing on either side. I'm gonna question things. I don't just take whatever the government tells me." Again, we had the CIA, the Alphabet Boys, who's not supposed to put their business out, put their opinion out on national matters. The CIA has no jurisdiction in the United States, but yet when Trump was in office, they put out memos and went on TV and went on networks and saying things that they're not supposed to do. That's not their lane. That's the FBI's lane to do those things, but not the CIA. Yet they clearly lied with Russiagate and a bunch of stuff like that. And yet you're telling me that I have to lock, step, and key believe the government when most people don't even believe their own American government. Yet we're supposed to believe everything that Benjamin said. Trump even said it. I talked to Bibi. It's like, yo, let's work out an agreement with the Palestinians. He was like, start stuttering and shit. Like, huh? Like Trump understood that, yo, he don't want to make an agreement. They don't want a two-state solution. They don't want any of this stuff. They want to turn it into glass, as an American politician said. Which is like, wait a minute, you can't say that. Those are people who ain't got nothing to do with the situation. And all you're doing is creating more of those people when you do say stuff like that. You do make America a target more. But yeah, that's 24 minutes. I'm out. What do you think about the situation with Candice, Jason Whitlock? The few people on the right who are actually making sense around all this, not losing their minds, not being hysterical, not being emotional. Like, Candice said everything that Dave Rubin said. Like, of course he's going to be emotional about this. He has family there. Well, okay. She said, I gave it a week to get your emotions out. But now let's be practical. Let's be realistic. And let's not lose our values that we claim we have over this one issue. Let's not throw it all out the window over this situation. And apparently, whatever it is, that lobby is powerful, baby. That lobby is powerful. I don't see how you can come back from that. Like, how do you come back from that? The Dave Rubins, the Megyn Kellys. I mean, Sean Hannity always been like in that hawkish way. Lindsey Graham trying to be the bad bitch warmonger bent since John McCain been gone. Like, Lindsey Graham shouldn't win another election. Sean Hannity can never talk about individual liberties and freedom and all those things like that no more because of his stance on these issues, the war hawk establishment narrative that he wants to portray. I don't know, but hopefully more people will voice their differences and what they don't, because it's not lock, key, and step. People have different opinions within the party. The non-interventionist thing that Trump brought to the Republican Party, all these right-wing talking heads are killing it. Trump didn't start any new wars. Trump talked about, we gotta kill this too. He tried to keep the peace with Russia for a reason. They have nukes. He pointed out how Bibi, when he was talking about let's make an agreement, let's get to the shit, let's handle this shit, he was like, Bibi was stalling and stuttering, and it was not me. Let's talk about it. What are your thoughts?